Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. While we're all waiting for this quarantine to be lifted so we can enjoy our lives again, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about how I got involved in offshore fishing on a budget. Now we all know that offshore fishing can be very expensive, and 20 years ago I didn't have a whole lot of money, but I was able to find an old project boat. Now this boat was a 1991 Boston Whaler Outrage. It was 25 feet long, it had a forward cuddy, it had a whaler drive bracket, it had a real nice T-top, and the original owner had it customized slightly on the dash and had a lot of the electronics flush mount. It was a really nice setup, and unfortunately the second owner didn't really do a whole lot of maintenance and kind of left it in some disrepair and left it on a farm for about 5 years before deciding to sell it. So I ended up picking up this boat fairly cheap, and in this video you're going to see how I was able to more or less fix it up a little bit and turn it into a real offshore fishing machine. Now one of the engines did have to be rebuilt, but this was a project I was able to fish and fix up at the same time. So if you're looking to get into offshore fishing, and when I'm saying offshore, I'm talking anything 20 miles and further. That's what NOAA considers offshore. Coastal fishing is more or less from the beach to 20 miles. If you're considering on taking on this hobby, you can do it. Don't let anyone talk you out of it, but you can do it, and do it on a budget as long as you find the right boat. And there are plenty of them out there. You just got to find them. Fixing up that old whaler really gave me a feeling of accomplishment, and I knew the boat inside and out, and that was important, especially what I was going to be doing with it. Going so far offshore, I had to make sure that the boat was going to be reliable, or as reliable as possible. Of course, we always want to have Boat US or Sea Tow type of insurance just in case, if you need them as a backup plan. But with the old twin two-strokes, they were very reliable and they never failed. I always had really good luck with them. Something else I want to mention are the other alternatives that are available now if I were to do it all over again. And that would be looking at probably another old whaler, like a mid-90s 24 Outrage. And those boats are great because, just like most modern boats now, they're unsinkable. And what's nice about those, they have in-floor fish boxes, and they have a pretty nice leading post as well. So that would be something that I would be considering if I didn't want to go out and spend $50, $60, $100,000 on a boat. I'd probably look for one of those that's in need of repair or repower or something like that I could find cheap, or as cheap as possible. So something else I want to mention is the Edgewater 247. Now that boat I've seen for sale in the teens. That's a newer boat. Usually you can find a mid-90s boat for about $16,000 and run it and fix it up at the same time, and you'd be well under probably $30,000, $40,000. You'd be well under that mark and have yourself a nice little offshore fishing boat. Some of the gear that we fished with out there, and specifically like the rods and the reels that we had out there at the time, was cheap. It wasn't the flashy high dollar stuff that you see on a lot of the charter boats or some of the bigger boats. I was using old Penn Senator reels with Tidewater rods, and they were cheap. I mean, they were nothing like the cost of some of the offshore stuff that you see now, as well as, you know, and this gear, I was catching big fish. You know, it works. You know, you don't have to have the best gear. You don't have to have the best gear out there to catch fish. You can go out there and, you know, have, you know, old stuff and still catch those fish. If the fish are there, you'll catch them. Bass Pro has some really good deals on offshore gear, and I'm talking the very basics. You know, they have cheap combinations of a rod and reel that you could get for about $175 or $180. I was just looking the other day, and you could get a whole outfit for less than $200. And I think if you buy a reel from them, they might put the mono on for free. I don't know, but that's something to look into. Hopefully we'll be fishing soon. We're still waiting for life to get back to normal and people to get out of quarantine. So hopefully that'll happen soon, and you'll enjoy the real content on this channel. So go ahead and subscribe, hit that like button. Let's get it out there. Thanks.